Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. A fatal traffic collision on the Marine base on Friday led to the death of a 10-year-old child. A spokesperson for the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center in 29 Palms reports that the collision occurred on the base at 12:30 p.m. on Friday. The collision was between a Marine Corps Provost Marshal Office vehicle and a privately owned vehicle. During the collision, a 10-year-old boy was injured. He was pronounced dead on Sunday, 2 days after the collision. Base officials asked for consideration of the family's privacy at this time regarding the identity of the boy. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service is actively leading the investigation into the circumstances surrounding the collision. The suspect in the alleged hit-and-run collision that killed Yucca Valley teen Joshua Barreras is expected to turn himself in at the Joshua Tree Court next Tuesday, a situation that has many residents of the high desert asking why he was not arrested immediately. Earlier this week, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department identified Troy Reynolds, a 57-year-old Yucca Valley resident, as the primary suspect in what is alleged to be a hit-and-run that occurred on January 26th. The victim, Joshua Barreras, a 16-year-old Yucca Valley teen, was found unresponsive in the center median of 29 Palms Highway near Avalon Avenue. Barreras was pronounced dead at a hospital later that night. When the Sheriff's Department identified Reynolds as the suspect in the collision, they said that he made extensive efforts to conceal his involvement in the collision and that he even had parts of the tow truck alleged to have struck Barreras removed at a Riverside County body shop. The Sheriff's Department's original statement said that the conditions of Reynolds' surrender is through agreement with his defense counsel and the district attorney. Z107.7 reached out to the Sheriff's Department regarding the surrender agreement, to which a spokesperson replied, quote, "Our investigators were in the process of obtaining an arrest warrant for Reynolds when we were made aware of the agreement between the DA's office and the defense attorney." The San Bernardino County District Attorney declined to share the specifics of Reynolds' agreement, saying only that arrangements between counsels regarding surrenders and said arraignments do happen and are done so on a case-by-case basis. Stay tuned to Z107.7 for coverage of the arrest of Troy Reynolds at San Bernardino County's Joshua Tree Courthouse on February 27th. The Morongo Valley Community Services District Board of Directors held their regular meeting last night. Assignment reporter Gabriel Hart was in attendance and joins us with this recap.
During his report, Fire Chief Brakebill announced the completion of the CSD office's reconstruction, a project ongoing since damage occurred from last summer's landmark storms. The board voted 5-0 to approve Brakebill's updated fire chief job description since his dual duty of general manager has been separated. The ongoing search for a new general manager hasn't been as easy as the board hoped. In the meantime, they voted 5-0 to extend interim GM Brittany Chavez's contract for 3 more months with an extra $5 added to her hourly rate. Due to aggressive legal counsel acquisition by former board members who resigned in 2023, the MVCSD still have 2 outstanding balances looming from their short-lived attorneys Best and Krieger for $602 and $3,822. The board voted 5-0 to pay these balances immediately. The board considered a request from the Firefighters Auxiliary to designate Covington Park a tobacco-free zone. While all were in favor, there remained the question of enforcement, especially with community members' preference for smoking at Covington Park's AA meeting. Tireless volunteer Buddy Stogner offered to buy 4 no-smoking signs with his own funds and then post them himself, and the board agreed to, quote, "see how it goes." Finally, T-Mobile's $25 million hometown grant was discussed, a new program where the corporation will invest in 500 American rural towns. While concerns were raised about the possibility of cell towers being placed in return for their investment, board members agreed they'd look further into details by the end of the March deadline. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Gabriel Hart.
The 29 Palms City Council will once again hold a special session meeting this morning at 8 a.m. at City Hall. The meeting was announced yesterday morning. As has been the case for the City Council's special session morning meetings, the sole agenda item is a closed session meeting to discuss the open position of City Manager. Larry Bowden has been operating as interim City Manager since Frank Lucchino left the role in October. The Council will share any reportable actions from the closed session with the public when it concludes. Over 3 million people a year visit our Joshua Tree National Park. Managing those visitors while protecting park resources is a challenge. On this week's Z107.7 Up Close show, Chief Ranger Eric Linares will talk with host Gary Daigneault about those challenges. From backcountry requirements to camping and hiking, Linares will share a close look at how park rangers operate. The Z107.7 Up Close show airs live Fridays at 10 a.m. and will be available as a podcast at Z107.7fm.com. And finally, if you have experience with or are interested in directing live theater, Theater 29 is accepting proposals for theatrical productions for their 2024-2025 season. The deadline to submit a proposal is coming up, so here's arts and entertainment reporter Charlie Thomas with details on how you can be a part of this growing cultural institution.
Theater 29 is beginning the process of selecting comedies, dramas, musicals, cabarets, and specialty productions for their upcoming 2024-25 season. Area theatrical directors are being invited to submit suggested plays for consideration. The Theater 29 Play Selection Committee is requesting prospective directors to submit 2 titles, preferably both musical and non-musical titles. Submitters must provide a script and an estimation of the show's budget, including at least estimated royalties and script costs. New directors are asked to include a directorial resume or a biography of the candidate's theatrical background. Full details of the submission process are available at theater29.org. The deadline for submissions is March 1st. Reporting for Z107.7, this is arts and entertainment reporter Charlie Thomas.
That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear news happening, let us know about it. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmetz.